So, welcome ladies and gentlemen of the internet. This is the second deck profile of the Poor Man's YGO, and as you can tell from the title of the deck, of the video, it's a Pendulum deck. So, this is a 48 card Pendulum build. It's similar to, I forgot his name, Pendulum guy, but, slightly different with my own little tech and spice into it, especially with the side and extra deck. So, yeah, let's get into the deck profile. We're going to start off with 2 copies of Endymion, the Mighty Master of Magic. He's just a spell slash trap negate. Yeah, it's a really good card. Can't be targeted while he has a spell counter on him. And he has good stats. He's got a good scale. You run 2 copies because we run Pot of Desires. And just in case, he's not like essential, but it's a pretty good card no matter what you do with it. So you don't want to really banish all your copies, but if you do, it's not detrimental. He's a side deck option as well, to get rid of one of them for your sides. That's good. Then, probably the second best card, if not the best card in the deck, is the Servant of Endymion. This card is unbelievably amazing. I don't know why other people don't play it in their Pendulum builds, but whatever, that's their choice. I'm just saying, she is amazing. She has an amazing pendulum effect. She's scale 2, obviously, that's really good, low scale. And her pendulum effect is every time a spell card resolves, she gains a spell counter. Remove 3 spell counters, special summon herself, and any card that can hold spell counters. Endymion, Cerberus, Jackal-King. We don't run Cerberus in this deck because he's a brick. But yeah, she is an amazing card, going first, going second, going whatever. She's amazing, and her actual monster effect is very, very interesting. So, I'm just going to read it off because it's, I don't want to mess up anything. So, you can only special summon her once per turn, obviously. Quick effect, if you can discard one card and place 1 spell counter on cards you control that can hold spell counters on them, once each. So, you control her and Endymion, you can discard a card, increase the level by 2. Increase their increase their spell counters by 1. And that also goes well with Jackal-King and stuff like that. And she has a good effect. Let's see here. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, place it in this pendulum zone. Then place the same amount of spell counters you had on it prior to this card. This doesn't really usually come up, but I've had it come up one time in locals, and it did make me win the game. Now, people say that you shouldn't run this in any version of pendulums. I highly disagree. 3, Magical Abductor. She's basically your other copy of a Servant of Endymion, except she searches, and same effect, like gains 3 spell counters and remove them and search any pendulum card. So this can help out unclog your hands. It basically is it's another unbricker. Of course, you run so many unbricking cards that it's not even funny. And I include her into the Endymion lineup because she does the same exact thing of spell counters. So, and for our final spell counter gaining card, probably the second best boss monster in our deck, 2 Jackal-King. Jackal-King is really good. It disrupts it basically says no to hand traps, and you run 2 for the same reason of the Endymion, where hey, if I banish it off Pot of Desires, I'm gonna have a high chance of saving it. So yeah, it's a really good card. I run it at 2. You don't use the scale effect. The scale effect is fucking garbage. But its monster effect is whenever a spell card is activated or resolved, I can't remember which one, place 2 spell counters on it, not 1. And then the great thing about this card is you can remove 2 spell counters from the field, quick effect, negate the activation of a monster effect, and destroy it. So you're midway through your combo, you have him on field, one counter on him, 1 on Servant, and or this on the field, doesn't matter, and they activate Ash, Droll, Ghost Ogre, whatever, remove 2, negate, destroy. So that's an amazing card about it. So that lines up the spell counter engine for us, off to the other pendulum cards and non-pendulum cards. I've had a lot of flack from running 3 of these guys and 3 of these guys, and you're gonna see why. I run 3 Curtain Raiser. Curtain Raiser is not that expensive. He's like $3 online right now. Its monster effect, you never use it. I did have it come up once, getting really clutch, because I was facing a hero player, and I really need to get over his board, and one monster that was blocking me was, I think it was like, Plasma or whatever, I don't remember. But its monster effect is never used. Basically, if it's the only monster on field, double its attack points. Not that great, never comes up. Its scale effect, though, which is super important, is while this is in your scale, if you control no monsters, special summon this card from the Pendulum scale. So what you would do is you'd activate Servant, and then you would activate this near the scale. She gains 1, and then you special summon it, so she still keeps that 1 spell counter. So it helps out with the combos, getting out your Electromite as quickly as possible. The deck doesn't revolve around Electromite, but it severely helps a lot. And the next one, this is why people say, oh, don't run Curtain Raiser if you have this in your deck. I highly disagree. 3 copies of Supreme King Darkworm. Sorry about the camera shake there. Darkworm is an incredibly amazing effect. It is probably one of the best Pendulum monsters ever created in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So, this card has a Pendulum effect, which you never use. It's bad. Never use in the Pendulum scale unless you absolutely have to. Its monster effect is if this card is in your graveyard while you control no monsters, special summon it, and then if this card is normal or special summoned, search Supreme King Gate 0. So basically, it's another free special summon if you don't have him in your hand. I've had hands where I have both, and I would just go special summon Curtain Raiser, normal summon Darkworm, link them off for Electromite. But yeah, this is a really good card. You want to run in at 3. It really helps out with your Guard Dragon combos. It is amazing. That rounds that up for the free special summon engine you're running there. That's 6 cards. And now for your Magician lineup. People give me, I wouldn't say give me flack for the Magician lineup. It's a standard Magician lineup for this. You run 2 Harmonizing. Her effect is when she's Pendulum summon another Magician from the deck. Pretty standard. You run the 1 Dragon Pit Magician just to get rid of spell/traps going second, and going first, he's just a high scale. So, that's pretty good. Arguably, one of, in my opinion, the best, probably the best Pendulum card for this format is Dragon Slayer Magician. This card has this card is so good. Basically, if you have this card in your pen scale or on your field, you have a guaranteed Guard Dragon combo. Reason being, Pendulum, when it's in the Pendulum zone, effect, target 1 monster you control, make it a Dragon-type monster, which is super good. It's monster effect. This card can become a Dragon-type monster. There is no way that if you have this in your scale or on your field, you're guaranteed to make this a dragon or make a monster you control into a dragon. And then you run the 1 purple poison. You don't run Black Fang in this deck because really Black Fang is just not good, not anymore. And we run a lot of high scale, so, I mean, I don't use him because he's really cloggy for that reason. And the next you run the 3 standard, 3 Chronograph Sorcerer. Chronograph Sorcerer is another special summoner. You activate this in scale, activates effect, to special summon the 1 Time Gazer you run. He's one of the only bricks you have in this deck. Even if you have him in hand and you have Chronograph Sorcerer, it's another special summon. Because you can special summon it from the hand or deck. So it's pretty good. And we don't really rely on his monster effect at all, but hey, if cards you control are destroyed by card effects, special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, and then you can special summon monsters from your hand, you can banish this card from, whatever. It's not useful. And our last Pendulum card we run is Supreme King Gate 0. It's a low scale, it's searchable with the Darkworm, it's a super poly target, but we don't run super poly because it severely jumped in price. And we don't want that. Now for our final 2 cards. The first one it's a must-of. You must run this, which is Destrudo. You must run Destrudo. If you do not run Destrudo, you need... I don't know why you're not. Destrudo is an amazing dragon. If you guys don't know what his effect is, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, special target 1 level 4 or lower monster in the field, special summon him, and then decrease his level by that amount. So this card is either a free Guard Dragon combo or a Dawn Dragster. It is so amazing, I can't even tell you. And the card you don't have to run, it's super cheap. Basically, if I'm going second and whatever, I need the side deck, this is probably one of my first side deck options, is the Mare, because we do run the 1 Yazi. Mare is, back in the day, used to be like the 1 card Boral Sword or whatever. His effect is decreases level by 1, and then if you do, special summon tokens. So, he's pretty good, and he's not bad. He's a brick in hand. He's just another number. Off to the spell lineup. Now, we run a lot of spells. I don't know the exact total, but we run a lot. So the most, probably arguably one of the most important, one of the most powerful spell cards you have is Spell Power Mastery. If you guys do not know what this card does, it is a really good card. It's a searcher for any Endymion card, so it's a Rhoda, and its secondary effect is, well, you activate it and you have Servant of Endymion or any other card on field. Hypothetically, let's just say, hey, I have Servant of Endymion on field. Activate Servant. Activate Spell Power Mastery. You get the search off, and it gains an additional counter, because this card, for every face-up card, for every face-up Spell Power Mastery, or everyone in your graveyard, place an additional counter on one card in the field. So it's essentially 2 counters in one. And it's amazing. It searches for any Endymion card, and you run 5 of them. So, I mean, it's a win-win. And the reason why we don't run Magister of Endymion, he's not that great, or Mirror of Endymion. I've seen a couple decks that run like a really heavy Endymion build. You don't really want it in this deck. You just need a small one. It's not that important. And off to the next spell, 3 Duelist Alliance. It's another searching card. It searches out for the next card you run. I've seen people run this at 2. I've seen these people run at 1. But I say for this deck, you run it at 3. You run 3 Pendulum Calls. It's searchable through Duelist Alliance. It's another searching card. Basically, discard 1 card. You discard Supreme King Darkworm, sending it to the graveyard, and you get its graveyard effect. But then it searches up to 2 Magician monsters with different names. That's a really good effect. It's a free search too, but also it has another effect where from the next till you're the end of your opponent's next turn, basically until till their next turn, your pendulum magicians in your pendulum scale cannot be destroyed by card effect, which has come up a lot in other duels, and it does save my lives, and it's a waste of their Twin Twisters and whatever. Next card, this is one of your side deck options. These 3 that I've just showed you, Spell Power Mastery, Pendulum Call, Duelist Alliance, never side them out. They're so essential, it's not even funny. But this one you can side out 1, 2 copies of. I run the 3 Dragon Shrine. I've seen people run 1, 2, but I like the 3. It adds a extra level of consistency. It sends your Darkworm to the graveyard if you need, or Distrudo. And it's a good Ash target, and it's a side deck option. So, yeah, whatever. And for your final, sending card, you have the 1 Foolish Burial. I'm not going to explain Foolish Burial. I'm not. And next, for your draw cards, the difference between this deck and, I forgot the Pendulum guy's name, I think it's Trey or something like that. We don't run, basically, I'm going to show you. So you run your draw engine. The draw engine's so good, it helps unclog hands, and it's one of your only outs to, freaking, what's his name? Colossus. You run 3 into the void, draw 2, banish 1 dark monster from your hand. It's Pot of Greed. And speaking of the brothers of Pot of Greed, we have Pot of Desires. We run this at 3. Reason we run this at 3 is because we need high numbers for this card, and it's draw 2, banish 10. And even if this card is ashed, and you have a Servant or Abductor or any card that gains spell counters, they still gain the spell counter. So it's still resolved. And then, for our final draw card, the 1 Upstart Goblin. Now, the difference... Oh, sorry, I remember his name is Trish. So the difference between this deck profile, really, and Trish's is obviously some of the deck options, like Monster lineup, but also mainly because we don't run 3 into the void. That is a pretty expensive card. It's $15 for 3 copies. And I understand it's a very good card, and you guys want it, absolutely. But $15 it wasn't good for the budget of this deck. I'm thinking in total, this entire deck was around like $60, and we didn't want to jump the price up to $75. So yeah, this is a very good cheap deck. It's really good into the format right now, and yeah, Upstart got so we run what was it, 7 draw cards, and that's it. Now off to the side deck. Now the side deck is actually relatively expensive, yet not at the same time. The reason why I have the 2 cards I'm going to show you right now is because I pulled them out of packs. Sorry, 1 out of pack, 1 out of a special thing. So, Sphere Mode, basically, this is your going second option against the Pendulum board. Breaks board, tributes 3, summon this card. Yeah, you run 3, you should run 3. People say, run 3 Sphere Mode, it's Pendulum format. I disagree, 2 is the right number. Now, I'm not going to do proxies, because I don't truly believe in the proxy thing, but sincerely, bump this up to 3. Lava Golem. I think Lava Golem is better than Sphere Mode because Lava Golem only requires 2, Sphere Mode requires 3. And I've had times where I had to tribute my own monster just to make sure that I could tribute my opponent's board. That is why Lava Golem is way more better. It only requires 2 tributes. It's solid. I love it, but I am going to buy this, 2 more copies of this. I ordered them in the mail before I made the deck profile. Probably shouldn't have done that, but whatever. Basically, he's $2 each, which is $6 in total. These are like, I don't know, 5 each, but I pulled these out of packs, so you guys don't have to run these if you don't want to. The reason, and then we run for the standard tribute engine, 2 kaijus, the fire, the water. There's no reason why you shouldn't own this. This is like $5. This is like 30 cents. And yeah. That's it for the tribute engine for the side deck. Off to the next ones. Okay, so these next cards are pretty good. Again, seeing how people say it's Thunder Dragon format, I actually agree with that. So, Artifact Lancia. You run this against any of the banished decks. This also does help out a little bit against, like, elemental heroes. Sorry, just heroes. Because it helps out with, what's that card's name? Destiny Hero Malicious. Where Malicious needs to banish itself, so it prevents that. And it doesn't do too much against their combos, but, I mean, it does something. And we only run 3 other hand traps. I would either suggest this or Droll, but Valor and Ash, no. You run 3 Ghost Ogre of the Snow Rabbit. I got these really luckily and really cheap. You can run that. You can replace this with Droll. Droll's super cheap right now. Droll's like, what? I don't know, $1 each maybe, maximum, because it came in the... You buy 3 copies of the Endymion Structure deck, which is what I did. You get 3 Drolls, and you get 3 Pot of Desires. And amazing. You have a side deck option, and you have, one of your main deck things. But I run this at 3 for the side because A, it's a solid hand trap, and B, it negates and destroys. Against the Pendulum players, basically you're siding. My side deck is against Pendulum and banished decks, like the banished deck, where we call him Dawn 10,000 because he gains 10,000 life points per game because he banishes 80 cards or whatever. But I've been rambling about that for too long, but if you guys don't know what she does, when a face-up monster or effect is activated, negate, destroy, and this hinders so much of Pendulum Magician's progress. Because you're going second, okay? And people think, oh, you Ash my Electromite? Cool. You negate and destroy the Electromite. So their Guard Dragon plays, fucking done. They're stopped. And my deck revolves around the Guard Dragon play. So... yeah. So that's it for the side deck. Off to the extra deck, the most important thing. So we run the 1 copy of Electromite. Electromite, there's no explanation. He ruled the format, okay? Heavy Metal Electromite, I'm actually going to explain it. So this is against all the Valors. They can't do nothing to this card, but... Ash doesn't affect this card. Valor utterly destroys this. But its actual effect is whenever this card is special summoned, you can send 1 Pendulum card from your extra deck. So from your deck to the extra deck. Then its secondary effect is target 1 card in the field, destroy it. And if it was a Pendulum card, destroy and add back 1 card from your extra deck to your hand. So you destroy one of your scales that's not Pendulum Magician, and you get 1 card back that you needed. More than likely the one that you sent. And it's secondary, and then, the other part of that says, hey, if it was a Pendulum card in the Pendulum Zone, draw a card. So it's probably our best link to that we got. And we're running a standard Guard Dragon engine. We run the 1 LP, we run the 1 Argapane, we run the Wong Hieratic Spheres, and we run Triple Burst Dragon. I'm not going to get into this. If you guys want a combo tutorial on the Guard Dragon plays, by all means, I'll give you combo tutorials for this deck. But anyway, this is not a budget card by any means of the word. This is like $40 by itself. I pulled this out of a pack. You can replace this with any other Link 4. Boral Sword. Basically, Borreload, the Mech Knight, Garb, whatever guy. Replace this with whatever. He is just my favorite Link 4 right now, because it's minimum like 6,000 points of damage you do. And he can be summoned out the Guard Dragon play if you need it, if you really think you can pull off the OTK. And the next stuff, you run the 1 hot red, a face-up negate destroy, face-up negate, 1 Crystal Wing. I won the 1 Ignister. I really like Ignister against like a rare deck that says, hey, my guy can't be targeted or destroyed. He just sends them back to the deck. So against Chaos Max, I know, holy shit, who's playing Chaos Max this format? I did last weekend at my locals. I played Chaos Max and I got my ass whooped by this exact card. So its effect is destroy a card in the Pendulum zone and return 1 face-up monster your opponent controls to the hand or / deck, basically returning it to the extra deck. And yeah. It's basically an out to basically everything else, but whatever. And then we have the 1 Yazi. I haven't made Yazi really yet. It's just there. If you guys don't know what he does, targets 1 card you control, 1 card your opponent controls, destroy them, and yeah. He has an effect if this card is destroyed by a card effect. Himself, he can target himself. It's supposed to summon 1 worm monster from the deck. So you would summon like Mare and go off of your Mare plays. And another one of the best synchro monsters I have, 1 Dawn Dragster. I just got this in the mail today. Dawn Dragster is so freaking good. It's a spell / trap negate. So he's easy to make because you have your Destrudo, and that's really good. And now off to the Xyz / Fusion. You want the 1 Absolute. I never made this in my entire dueling career. Basically, he's just there if I absolutely need it. The 1 Vortex. Vortex is basically, if you're going first, it's your safest like Guard Dragon monster to summon off the Guard Dragon play. It's an anything negate. Monster, spell, trap, negated. Negate, destroy. And for our other 2 Xyz monsters, we have the 1 Time Star Magician. I never use that. It's just there. And the 1 Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller destroys. He's in there because it destroys any deck that revolves around the graveyard. Zombies, they're done. They can't play no more. Whatchamacallit? Elemental heroes, they're done. They need the graveyard to exist. Okay? They can't play. Alright? So you know, Abyss Dweller, during standby phase, they can't play. If you guys don't know what Abyss Dweller does, what are you doing in Yu-Gi-Oh? But Abyss Dweller basically negates all monster effects in the graveyard. So, anything for them. So that'll be it for the video. That's the deck. If you guys want to see a combo tutorial of how to do the Guard Dragon play with this deck or any variant of it, let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and peace.